what I could do is try with the mixing medium and see if that helps. But there doesn't seem to be any or much paint coming off. Yeah, it just seems to be going on like a glaze, very thin. Right, what I'm going to try, I'm going to move away from that for a second, and I'm going to try the mocha skin, and we're just going to physically shake it, see if that helps matters. Pop a bit on there, and then using the war paint mixing medium, which we're going to have to give a shake to. Now bear in mind I haven't added any balls to these pots yet. I just want to see what they're like straight out of the bottles. So let's mix this in together and see how we go with it. Now it seems to be thicker, so it may not be reacting to the wet palette as well as it should do. Because the other paint seems to be a lot better at handling the wet palette than this one. We are definitely getting some pigment onto the mini this time. It's not just the glaze. Yeah. So I'm not sure what to make of this particular colour. That's going to the and a little bit of this. This just goes to make it look as though there is some blood pouring or pumping below the skin on these minis. It takes off the really dark brown colour. As I said, makes it look as though there is some blood pumping. Anyway, I mean it's not a very strong colour. It is quite subtle in the way it looks. So I'm assuming it's supposed to be, but when all's said and done, we're not supposed to make it look as though there's a big jump with these colours, but by the same yardstick it's supposed to look as though there's some colour going on, which unfortunately from the wet palette there isn't. But never mind. Right, next let's do this leather brown. So what we want to do first is go back into the leather brown and then we can pick out the highlights, the raised areas, and being very careful about this as well, because we don't want to get this everywhere. We want to get it only in certain parts. Now, I may have been better putting this on the CD palette and getting it less watery. But we'll work with what we've got. I've had a look as well, and I can't see about the shields, so I don't know whether they were all metal or whether or not there was some or whether it was wood. So I'm really not sure how to handle that, but we'll think of something. But it's time for metallic areas anyway, and let's go with now I don't have much in the line of metallics for Army Painter. Let me have a look what I do have. Yeah, I don't have much greedy gold, shining silver, plate mail metal, but what I do have is some Vallejo metallic colours. This is bright brass. Let's try this, see how this works. I was going to say this is an airbrush paint, so it's going to be a bit more watery than normal, but I do intend on getting some what's the word I'm looking for? I do intend on getting some metallic paints from Army Painter. So once I've done that, we might get a much better reaction with it, a much better capacity for dry brushing. Although saying that, the dry brushing technique we have here seems to be working quite well. Now we have fish on his helmet, we also have fish on his shield, so I'm assuming this particular gladiator was from an area that specialised in fishing. Let's just do that. That and that and that. And let's get the middle sorted. So we have the fish on his helmet and the fish on his shield done. Let's do as well the centre, what look like scales on his leg. Ujit, and is there anywhere else that looks like it's fish scale? No, not that I can see. So that's what we had to work with. With the bird feathers, I'm not sure what colour to do. So we'll leave those for a while, and we'll go into highlighting the Ujit a bit more, and we'll go with Skeletal Bone. Okay, now I'm not going to put it on the wet palette because I want it a little drier. I'm going to put it on here. There we are. I don't need much. So let's take some of that, and then we can start adding it to areas of the loincloth. Now again, we're not looking for absolute perfection with this. I want to try and get it so that it looks as though it's been highlighted, rather than every little thing being covered. There we are. That will do nicely. Now I'm going to take some of this, and I nearly went into another paint then for some reason. I'm going to also take some of this and go around the top edge of the straps here. And where are the other ones? There. I'll touch that one, there, and there, as well as there. Alrighty then. So that looks adequate to purposes. We'll add a little something later on into this. There we go. Right, next job is again with the metallics, and again I'm a painter, we're going to go with plate mail metal. Okay, so that's that bit done. Next, oops, a big bubble. So that's a plate mail metal, and I'll go into that. I will just do around here with this. Oops. And that will do nicely. Don't forget I will be coming back and adding a little more of a highlight to this. It's not going to stay this particular colour. I will be adding something brighter. Oops. I just need to watch what I'm doing. in some areas. I think this, looking at this now, I'm putting this on, it does look as though it could well be wood. So I think a full metal shield would be incredibly heavy to carry. Mind you, a full wooden one wouldn't be too light either. But as I said, looking at it, I do not see this as being anything but wood. I just need to make sure that I can get in to do the wooden areas later on. There we are. That will do nicely. Okay, for the rest of the skin now, let's come back with this, and I've dried my brush because I want to see how this paint works, and this is going to be, shall we say, probably the final highlights we're going to be doing for this chap, for his skin anyway. This is a much nicer colour. Now, it looks as though I've got some of the metal on his shoulder. So let's get back into this dark colour. We can put that back in. There we are. While waiting for that to dry. Back into here. And we'll just pick out lighter areas of colour. Just see where we can add this. We're trying to add it over but not covering the entirety of the previous shade we put on. And again, there is issues with what's the word I'm looking for, with it being too too watery. That's the word I was looking for. I'll go back into here for this top bit. Now again, I'm not sure whether this is because of a lack of mixing. It's not mixed properly, or it's just a very watery paint. But either way, it's not really ideal. It may just be that I've just left it on my palette a little too long, and the water from the palette has affected the consistency of the paint. But We'll see, we'll see. I'm quite happy with the way it's looking, though. It does look as though it is a natural skin tone. There we are. Next, I need to get the shield sorted out. So for the shield, we're going to go really clever. So, starting off with deep blue. And then we're going into Viking blue. And after that, we're going Ice Storm. Okay, so let's see if we can get this done. I will like it. I envision it being like gradient. I'm just hoping I can get this done the way I want it, because I never have really a good track record when it comes down to trying to do gradients, but I keep trying because I like the way it looks. And I know I have to be quick, and I'm being anything but. I'm always too slow and too deliberate with my paint application. But let's see if we can do this. Now I'm painting the blue, this deep blue, all over, as you can see. Then I want to come in with these other colours and add little patches of these colours.